Do you want to just introduce yourself and say what you do?
Sure, I'm Sean Millen with the Burlington Lead Program. We work in Burlington and Winooski. We mainly work on exteriors and interiors of apartments and homes to abate lead hazards. Most of the housing stock here, up to probably about like 75% of the housing stock, is pre-1978. And 1978 is the year that lead, and specifically in lead paint, was banned in the US. So that's kind of the date that we use. So any building built before that has a potential of having lead paint hazards. Up to this point, we've gotten to probably only maybe like a 16th of those houses since 2003. So we're still working.
So is most of the lead that's in the soil just leached from the houses into there, or is it because this area used to be a dump?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. Like, people used to dump their stuff in their yards, like, metals, things like that that contain lead. When leaded gasoline was around, some of those residues can get out. Lead paint is still prevalent in yellow road paint. Sometimes that can get kind of abrased or whatever and go into the environment. But yeah, mostly it's from older houses that have lead paint on them. The paint chips come off and they get ground up in the soil and they kind of wash into other parts of the area. A lot of the soil that we get for testing for these types of events from this area are generally pretty high.
Yes. How many did you get, soils today? People coming in with soil?
You're the first?
Oh,
For today. But I mean, we have a...
through the plastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Sorry, man. But I told you I was willing to bet you.
Okay, so
190.
PB,
PB is lead.
okay.
There's one, what's
And
the
198.
threshold?
And
190.
So anything over 100 parts per million is considered contaminated.
Oh crap.
If you find out that you have lead in your soil, like, whose responsibility is that?
Well, that is, if you're a renter, that really is your landlord. There are some ways to get around that if you're a gardener and if you're gardening vegetables, growing vegetables, is to go to raised beds. Because it is quite complicated to eradicate lead from soil. It's very, very expensive and very time consuming to actually scrape it off, and that doesn't guarantee it's going to get rid of it, because it can come in or continue to come in from older buildings, like shedding those lead paint chips and those
Okay.
sorts of things.
What is the process for, like, getting it out?
They would literally scrape, they actually did it at a site close by to here, and they would actually scrape almost down to a foot of the soil.
Okay.
They take it off, and they literally, any kind of lead paint hazards actually go right into the landfill. And then they bring in new topsoil. Now, there are some ways you can bioremediate. So that can be done using mushrooms.
Okay.
Cannabis is a really good one.
Huh.
But one of the best ones actually are sunflowers.
Okay.
These generally, when you're bioremediating, can be up to 3 to even 10 years, depending on the size of the site and the concentration in the soil.
It sounds like when a plant is helping to remediate the soil, then you can't eat the plant. It probably has lead in it, right?
Right.
Unless it's like the fruiting body of the plant, like tomatoes or something.
Yeah, those tend to, so where the lead tends to go are in the stems and
Okay.
the leaves. So think of things like kale would
Okay.
be a bad idea to
Yeah.
grow in areas that are moderately,
Okay.
contaminated with lead, because they're going to take all that and put it into their leaves. So for instance, for a sunflower, when it takes it out, it stays in that big fat stem that it has, and in the leaves. And actually, from what I'm told by other people who study this, it does not go into the actual seeds, because people do worry about that
Yeah.
because birds eat it, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Fern. I'm from Burlington. I'm a community member, and I've spent some time on the Barge Street Canal getting to know it and its plants and the animals that live here. Barge Street Canal is a mixture of Superfund and brownfield sites, which in other words, it's really fucking polluted. There's a lot of coal tar under the ground and some heavy metals. And there's also a bunch of plants and animals that live here, and it's really pretty. And among those plants and fungi, there are stuff that is just naturally found here that is beginning that work of remediation. There can be some money that people can get to start remediating these sites, But the problem is the legal definition of remediation is in context of developing, but what that actually means is it's money to scoop out all of the shit, all the problem stuff, like the, in this case, petrochemicals and like heavy metals, and bring in new stuff and then build on it. There's a lot of problems with that approach to it. First of all, it ignores the sovereignty and, you know, the recovery that the land's already doing and the plants and animals that live here. It also, there's risks with bringing in trucks and like transporting all that extremely polluted substances. And also, where do you dump it? Like, landfills spill, like landfills leach into watersheds. That's not solving anything. That's not what actual healing is. So until that definition changes, it makes sites like these really difficult. There's so much work that can be done, but it's kind of like, it's slow and intentional work. We can't expect these things to happen on our time frames, but yeah, it's worth it. You gotta start imagining a future where there are humans that can come be on this land and eat those wild strawberries and those raspberries. And our ancestors and our relatives are here still. There's beaver here. I've been thinking a lot about how powerful and beautiful it is to know the plants around you. The difference between seeing like individual friends or beings and just green, when we can see the different beings, we're connected to it.
Ebon?
Yeah, check it out.
Oh.
I think it's the native kind that are not.
To harvest it?
Yeah.
Bummer.
Just on this land. But the bees, I'm sure, are still loving it.